Welcome back. And the second part of our session on disability inclusion will be hosted by myself with great speakers from Google. And my first guest will be Christopher Patno, who, I'm not going to reveal that. Chris, I will ask yourself to share a little bit more about your role at Google, because Google is perceived as a champion in disability inclusion. So I really do hope that your story will only confirm that. So welcome, Chris. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me here, Monica.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So my name is Christopher. I lead accessibility and disability inclusion for Google for EMEA. That means my region is Africa. It's the Middle East. It's Europe. And the role is to try to understand the needs of people with disabilities across the region and bring that insight of what people need and how things can be improved inside Google so we can make our products and our platforms and our services more inclusive and more accessible.
Excellent. How did you start with accessibility, Chris?
So I started technology in a very strange way. I didn't study technology in school. I'm a failed opera singer. I realized in my mid-20s that I was much better at waiting on tables than I was singing and thought it probably meant something, so I joined tech. I spent 10 years at Apple where I worked on the first iPod and the first iTunes and Final Cut Studio. Then I went to Sony and made phones, and Disney made games. But I discovered accessibility at Google after all of that. At the time, I was the lead technical program manager for Google Play Music. And we had a technician come in, one of our analysts came in, and she turned on VoiceOver. And I heard button, 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 button. I said, "What's that?" She said, "Well, this is Google Play Music for someone who's blind." I said, "Well, that's stupid. How do they use it?" She said, "They don't. That's why I'm here." So that was my introduction, because my product wasn't accessible, and everything that I made up until that day was made without thought of disability or accessibility. And I've since not been able to look away, and it became my day job, and it led me here to Europe.
Did you need to convince Google as an organization that accessibility is important and should be embedded? Or because you said that there were lots of bad, so I understand that even Google had some concerns. So how did you overcome it? I think we have just connected to my next speakers, although we lost Chris. I hope that he will be able to be reconnected. Let's give him just a couple of seconds. Hi, Magda. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
I'm waiting for my turn.
All right, so here we go again. Hi, Chris, welcome back. Sorry, there was some kind of a technical challenge.
Oh, technology is hard, no matter whether you're doing something about accessibility or not. I'll let them speak. Let me just say one thing, that the thing that to remember is in any culture of any business, there's going to be some people that get it and some people that don't. So you need to realize that some people will need to be converted. I think of it sort of like a religious mission, but it can be done. And we've moved Google from a place where we would do more lip service than action to a point now where it's expected for most of our products. And I'm really proud to be part of the team that did this. I can take very little responsibility or credit for doing it by myself.
Excellent. Chris, can you tell us about Accessibility Discovery Center developed by Google? What is it and why you are so proud of it, like your baby?
It is. My wife says it's like going inside my brain. It's a space, it's a physical space on many Google campuses here in Europe and the Middle East, where we talk about accessibility, we talk about inclusive design, we teach people from outside Google and also people from inside Google why it matters, what's important, how to use AI in thoughtful ways to make it useful. But we also use video games to try to destigmatize disability, giving people hands-on experience with assistive technology, and they get to show off a bunch of the things that our competitors and our friends, like Microsoft and Sony and Samsung and Apple have, they exist in these centers because no one company can make all of the tools for everybody. It's up to you to know what you need and then craft together your solution in this world that wasn't designed with us in mind.
Excellent. What are your plans in terms of accessibility discovery centers for the future? Do you also see it as the opportunity to educate on more accessible workplaces? I had a chance myself to visit one of these centers in Dublin this year, and I found it really inspiring, and I found it very useful for people who are not on a daily basis having the opportunity to test and play with some gadgets, accessories, and solutions in terms of technologies. But are you thinking about it more seriously? I'm thinking about putting some kind of a work activation or professional education in terms of people with disabilities, maybe those that can be working in the future, but not necessarily are familiar with technical solutions yet.
The centers are being designed to be deployed throughout Europe. Right now, we have 7 of them at this time, and we hope to be doing more. They're designed to teach people about accessibility, whether it's for work or school or for home. We don't have any specific work aspect to it, but it is one of these things we're very proud of, and we expect to continue to grow in the next few years.
Mm-hmm. Would you consider this aspect of making, even some kind of a showroom of your own products and solutions that are accessible for other companies to really have an opportunity to learn, get inspired, and get convinced that accessibility should be absolutely a given right of every employee?
So nothing we have in the centers are proprietary, where we share. I'm sorry, I'm being kicked out of my room. Because we're running late.
Yeah, the question was whether
we have no. There's nothing proprietary. We're happy to share what we have. We share what we learn to anyone that comes in. So we have businesses coming in, and we teach them about making their own products and their own work culture more inclusive and more accessible. So it's nothing we hold to ourselves. We're sharing it as openly as we can.
What opportunities do you see in AI in terms of assistive technologies for people who already use computers and could leverage from these solutions? What would you recommend for the start for a person that never used AI, but is, for example, visually limited or impaired? Would you have any advices in terms of the Google products at the moment?
I think the first thing to be is not afraid. There's nothing scary about AI. We use it on a daily basis. You think about the captions on YouTube or the captions you see on Google Meet or Zoom. We use AI every day, but these new technologies, these new large language models have huge opportunities to make new experiences more accessible. You can give someone like Gemini or ChatGPT a PDF and say, tell me what's inside this PDF, and they often do a really good job. The future gets to be exciting with what we call multimodal, where we can start using video. And I can't wait for the day where you can have a pair of glasses on with cameras and walk down the street, having it tell you exactly where you need to go, how to get there, and where the best coffee is.
Absolutely. I remember a colleague of mine who is visually impaired, who was not able to travel 10 years ago, and he had to really use some specialized GPS systems. Everything right now is in his phone that is enabling him to travel around the world, and he feels absolutely supported by the new technologies that are really tiny and available in a smartphone. So I think the world is becoming more and more inclusive every single day, and thanks to your effort as well and all your team, we are able to experience that positive changes in terms of technology. So, Chris, I would like to thank you for your fantastic insights and contribution to making the world more accessible every single day. I keep my fingers crossed for future successes and future developments. And thank you very much for our conversation today.
Thank you.
All the best, Chris. See you soon.